Hello, my lovely duckies, and welcome to the Boneyard. And we have a special Halloween edition of the Retro Roundup. Yes, I'm eating my monster cereal and reading my latest issue of Wolf and Batsy here, and got some good Halloween games for you to play here. So, I've acquired these games for the past couple months here, and some I've played before, and some I have not. I've been trying a lot of them out. And so let's get right into it. All these are some really good horror themed games that you can play on Halloween. So, first off, let's start off with the Sega Genesis. So, we have none other than Castlevania Bloodlines. Yep, Castlevania Bloodlines is a great game. You play as, instead of any of the Belmonts, you play as Quincy Morris, who actually, in the Dracula book, was actually the character who actually killed Dracula. So, he actually plays the person who actually killed Dracula. But yeah, so Castlevania Bloodlines is really great. You can play this on the Sega Genesis Mini. It's on there, but yeah, you play as that, or you play as another person. I can't remember their name, but it's they have like a lance, and they're actually a lot easier to play with. So Quincy's like the normal mode, and the other characters like the easy mode. But yeah, if you love Castlevania, Castlevania Bloodlines is a really great game to get. Really, really awesome. Now, it says here that it was assembled in Mexico. So I think maybe that this actually might be a Majesco Sales Incorporated version. But I don't see it anywhere on here. And normally Majesco likes to, throw their brand everywhere. So I don't know. That's the only thing I got to go on is that clue right there. But anyways, my lovely duckies, let's get on with what else we got here. So we got some other great bangers here. Yeah, and that's the thing is, all these are really, really great games, and a lot of these are really expensive games. Like Bloodlines here is that cost you kind of a pretty penny, just for this loose cart actually too. So, anyways, I picked up something that I've never played before, but I've put in the old Sega Genesis and gave it a couple rounds, and it's actually pretty fun. Splatterhouse 2. Now, as you can see, it's not in the in the best condition. Yeah, it's got stickers and marking all over it, and I don't know. This might have been a rental version, but yeah. But anyways, that's why I got it actually fairly cheaper than what you can normally get it, because this is like normally $80-$90 just for this loose cart, and I got it for just a bit cheaper. I think it was like $60. So you can tell, like, even with a messed up card, it's going to be a lot of money. But so oddly enough, there is no Slaughterhouse 1 on the Sega Genesis. Slaughterhouse 1 apparently is only on the TurboGrafx 16, and then Slaughterhouse 2 and 3 were on the Sega Genesis, and then believe they made a 4 for the PlayStation 3. But so we've only played the 2 here. And you play as Rick here, who's wearing this mask, and pretty much look like Jason Voorhees. And you go around, you gotta save your girlfriend. So I don't know what the story of the first one is, but apparently you're stuck at a mansion, and your girlfriend gets kidnapped by all these ghosts and ghouls, and you gotta beat them up, because that's what it is. It's basically a side scroller beat them up. And so you go through all the levels, and you beat up the enemies here to get your girlfriend back. And where this starts off is apparently a few months after the events of the first one, and your girlfriend is captured again, and you have to go rescue her again. And yeah, and you do not look like that on the in the game. No, I think that's more for copyright reasons. But yeah, you look pretty much more like Jason Voorhees in the game, but it's pretty good. It's quite, I'd say it's a bit difficult. You got to learn the attack patterns of your enemies, but yeah, no, normally you can just ride through them, but like the bosses and stuff, it kind of plays almost it's kind of like a cross between a side scroller beat 'em up and almost like Ultra Beast in a little bit. Especially the first boss reminds me of like an Ultra Beast boss. But yeah, you got to learn the attack patterns and such. But this is a really good game. I recommend it if you can pick it up. So, anyways, Duckies, let's put that over there next to the cereal. So, I thought, well, we got Slaughterhouse 2. Why not pick up, boom, Slaughterhouse 3? Now, I remember getting this, or not getting this, but I remember seeing this for the first time at a video store. And when I saw it, I was like, what in the world is that? Because this came out in like 1993. And this kind of blew my little mind when I saw it. I was like, is this a movie or what is this? And yeah, I thought, I had no idea what this was. I didn't even realize it was a game. Just from the cover artwork, I was like, oh my God, that's so badass looking. But yeah, you play as Rick. This time, apparently the mask you wear is possessed. And you got to go get your girl again. I think you got to rescue her soul. So I guess she dies in the second one. Spoiler. But you got to go rescue her soul and save her from all these monsters. And in this one, as you can see, the mask looks like it's more fused on his face. Yeah, in this one, there's a mechanic where you can power up by fusing with the mask, and you basically get more power. And it's also less linear. The first one is more of a linear, go from like right to left kind of thing. Where this one you have more of a chosen path. There's like doors you can go through and explore a little bit, and yeah, it's really pretty fun. Compared to the second one, I don't know. I haven't played it too much, so I can't really give it a fair comparison. But I think they're both pretty good. But yeah, you can pick this up too. And this is actually we got this for a decent amount, and it's actually in really good condition too. So, but yeah, this goes for even more than the second one here, oddly enough. And then, so let's move on from the Sega Genesis, and let's bump up to, well, the PlayStation, and we have none other than Castlevania Symphony of the Night, probably one of the greatest Castlevania games ever made. Really awesome game. Now I have played this a little bit. I played it before. I had actually had a version of this on the Xbox 360 long time ago that I downloaded, so I've played a little bit of it. I've never beaten it though, but I have played a little bit of it. And you see, we got a advertisement here for Silent Hill, and this is also the greatest hits version, which I tried to get the black label, but apparently I can only get this one. But it doesn't matter, I guess. But anyways, yeah. So we have this was like I think this was the only one on the PlayStation. I'm not sure, but but yeah, this is actually a direct sequel to another game called Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which was on the TurboGrafx 16. Um, and I think no, I think it was only on it was only on the TurboGrafx 16, because I think Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it was on PlayStation, and then there was like apparently an inferior version on the Sega Saturn. I don't know, but anyways, this is where you get the whole Metroidvania gameplay, where you have to go back and try to find different paths when you get different power ups. This one you play actually as Alucard, the son of Dracula, and so this is more of a exploratory element to it. But yeah, it really proved that 2D games can really survive in in the 3D space. So yeah, this is a really great game. If you can get your hands on this one, I highly recommend it. If you can get it, like say, downloaded from the Microsoft Store or something, something like that. Because I know this is actually pretty expensive. So um, do what you can, Ducky. But yeah, if you can get on the PlayStation version, that's I guess that's even better. But anyways, yeah, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And this, of course, gives you that famous meme of, what is a man but a miserable pile of secrets. Oh, my lovely duckies. So, anyways, let's put that right there. And the other PlayStation game we got is something that I have played before, and I highly recommend it too. It's a really great game. It is Parasite Eve. Now, this is kind of a weird one because this one comes from Squaresoft, And so this is a horror game from SquareSoft, and it's an RPG. It's like an action RPG actually. And we have you play as Eve here on the cover, and it's kind of like a I want to say it's kind of like Resident Evil in a sense that it's like body horror. The it's not like fantasy, even though it's an RPG. It's actually based in modern day New York. Well, modern day for the time it came out. It came out in 97, 98, so modern for them. But yeah, yeah, it's in the modern era. Instead of fighting with like swords and shields and stuff, you fight with guns and stuff like shotguns and pistols and whatever. But it takes place in New York, and I believe the story is something about like mitochondria in the body is mutating and evolving, and it's causing certain creatures and humans whatever to turn into monsters and stuff. And so New York's kind of under siege, and she's the pretty much the progenitor of all of it. Another person named Eve. But yeah, so let's dive into here. So it's a 2 disc game, but this one actually has 3 discs, which is kind of neat. And I'll tell you what that 3rd disc gives you in a second. But so there's this whole parallel between like Eve and Eve, the Eve you play and the Eve that's causing all the trouble. So you got the Eve you play, the protagonist you got here, and then behind her is the other Eve, the evil one. You know, so it's a tale of 2 Eves. And then we have over here on this side, we have like the evil one, and then behind her is the good one. So I like how they did that in the case here. And then we got a I guess it doesn't matter. I should bring that out. But anyways, we got a collector's CD Volume 1 here, and we got basically only one playable game, which is Xenogears. But we got Bushido Blade, Brave Fencer Musashi, and Final Fantasy VIII. Yep, this came out before that, so this was kind of like basically like a trailer. This is how we used to do it back in the day. We didn't. A lot of us didn't have access to the internet like we do today, so we had to get information about games from we had to do it analog. We had to do it through do it through magazines and such, and then we got discs like this in games. So somebody would have bought this, and this would probably been a big selling point. They want to play the game, but also be like, holy crap! It also comes with a preview for Final Fantasy VIII. Wow, so you get a little sneak peek. But anyways, let's open up this manual and look at it. So we have I remember this is like on the opening cinematic. So here we are in New York City, and let's see if we can get over here to the opening page here. Well, that's not the page I want. Oh. Not the best gloves for turning pages. But yeah, we got a little story here. So an introduction to the game. Mitochondria, a microorganism that lives within the human cells and has existed symbiotically within the nucleus for hundreds of millions of years. Critical for production of energy and living things. Mitochondria has its own genetic code and the ability to evolve and multiply. Now that's actually true. That's actually science right there. But it says after exhaustive DNA research, it appears that all mitochondria can be traced to a single source, a female human in ancient Africa, identified as Mitochondria Eve. What if this organism had her own intentions, and was waiting for the day to take over the human race? Christmas Eve, New York. She awakens to it on this destined day, and now the final battle for survival between the human race, and the mitochondria is about to begin. So yeah, so it's kind of like a body horror thing. It's actually pretty good. It's an action RPG. It's not turn based, so you do have to run around from your enemies and such. You know. So you don't have much time to just sit there and think. You gotta like, you know, make split decisions, and you have to worry about ammo and things like that. But yeah, we got this like really nice back cover here, really awesome. But yeah, it's a chilling adventure that come from the creators of Final Fantasy VII. Again, they're plugging that because they're like, holy crap, Final Fantasy VII. What else does Square have? So um, yeah, an epic tale told through stunning 3D rendered sequences, battle mutant monsters in real time polygon combat, customized weapons, armor, and character abilities, and includes 1988 collector CD with previews of Final Fantasy VIII and other hot upcoming titles. So um, yeah, there's a lot of like, also like the powers you get is like psychic stuff. So yeah, like I said, it's more based in science and stuff than fantasy. So you say your magic, you have like psychic powers and guns and stuff like that. So anyway, it's also a great game if you can pick it up or emulate it or whatever. Now we're gonna get into some other games. We don't have PlayStation games anymore, so now we're gonna get finally onto some GameCube games, and they're all from one different franchise, so you might be able to guess them in succession. But we're gonna start with the first one, I guess canonically, which is Resident Evil Zero for the GameCube. Now, funny thing is, I actually got this in today. I've never played it before. I popped it in for a little bit and played it, and it plays very similar to the first couple of games. That static background and pre-rendered background. And so if you like that style of gameplay, you'll like this. Basically, it's follows Rebecca from the first game, and she basically this is the story of how Bravo Team got to the mansion. I assume because this is before the events of Resident Evil 1. It does not have progressive scan mode, which kind of a bummer. This would have been a pretty good game with that. But anyways, but you could tell this is a player's choice version because they got all the recommendations and stuff. GameSpy and Electronic Gaming Monthly. But yeah, uh, yeah, I mean it seems like a good game. Uh, about as scary as Resident Evil game is. They did have like in the first like 15 20 minutes I was playing it, they did have like uh, demon dogs jumping through the windows like they do in the first one. So I thought that was a nice little callback to the first game. But yeah, so I really don't have much to say about it because I never had played it. But I thought I would go ahead and include it since I got it today. Now another game we got, and this is a real big banger here, is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now this is a direct port of the PlayStation version, and oddly enough, the GameCube, you know, handles 240i or a 240p 240 or whatever. It handles 240 resolution. Actually, pretty darn good. This thing looks amazing with a Carby adapter on the back of your GameCube. I mean, it looks absolutely awesome. But yeah, this is basically Resident Evil 3. You play as Jill Valentine, and I had played both the PlayStation version and I played this one too. Kind of again, it's a direct port of the first one or the PlayStation one, so it has the same graphics and stuff. It's not an upscale or anything, but yeah, because you can see on the back here, it's the very same game. So I mean, what can I say? If you like Resident Evil on the PlayStation, you'll like this. Um, this is actually really quite an expensive game. Actually, this one and Resident Evil 2. I think 2 is actually more expensive. But the remakes or the ports from Resident Evil 2 and 3, the PlayStation ports, for some reason they are like extremely like high. I don't know what the reason is, but yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. This if you like Resident Evil, you'll like this. Really really great game. I know they have like the new one that came out, the remake for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. So, but yeah, you play as Jill Valentine, during, like, simultaneously during the events of Resident Evil 2. So there's a lot of callbacks and stuff in there, a lot of intertwining with the second game. But whereas where the first game or the in the other game you're being chased by Mr. X, this one you're being chased by a nemesis throughout the whole game. So there's kind of that nerve wrackingness of constantly being stalked, because you lose him for a little while and then he'll come back, and it's like, ah, crap, we got to run away from him. But yeah, this is also a really really good game. And then our last game that we actually have, and I really wish I had more games to show you, but I think this would be enough. But this is not an expensive game, nor is it a very rare game. But I picked this up recently, and it's actually one of my favorite Resident Evil games and one of my favorite GameCube games, and that is Resident Evil 4. We all know it. I really don't have to explain much about it. But for those who don't know, you play as Leon Kennedy, who is the star of the second game, and the president of the United States, his daughter, has been kidnapped by some weird cultists in an island off the coast of Spain, and you got to go find them. Now, this is the first Resident Evil that actually has the over-the-shoulder view to it. This game scared the living bejesus out of me when I first played it. I mean, it was something that I hadn't played before. I mean, it had scared the living crap out of me. I remember, like, the first time I got chased by a guy with a chainsaw, I was just like, oh my god. Yeah, my heart was racing after I had to actually stop playing this game because my heart was racing. That's how bad, how bad this game had scared me. Because it's nothing I have never experienced before. But yeah, so this one always has a special place in my heart. I've had this for quite a while, and then I sold it, and then I sold my entire GameCube collection about a couple years ago, and regrettably, I just kind of needed the cash. But now I'm recollecting GameCube stuff. I bought a new GameCube, and as you saw in the previous episode of the Retro Roundup, I got a brand new GameCube, and so I bought Resident Evil 4 because I thought, this is one of my favorite games on the GameCube. It's also my favorite Resident Evil. Resident Evil 5, I think, did a pretty good job, but still. So this is where that over the shoulder game mechanic came from, and so this is a really great, really really great game. The funny thing is, the only reason this was actually the main reason I got a GameCube back in the day, because I had a PlayStation 2, but I saw this was coming out and it was only going to be for the GameCube. So I went and put a GameCube on layaway, and by the time it came out, I had this game, and I bought this like the day I got my GameCube out of layaway. I went and bought this, and yeah, scared the living bejesus out of me that day. So, anyways, my lovely duckies. So these are the games that we're playing, and so I would say I would recommend every single one of these games. Every single one of these games is a great game. It's an A plus. Every single game in here is like an A+ game, and I highly recommend every single one of them. So we have Resident Evil 0, 3, Resident Evil 4. We have Castlevania Symphony of the Night. We have Parasite Eve, and there's also a sequel too if you want to play that one. And then we have Slaughterhouse 2, Slaughterhouse 3, and Castlevania Bloodlines. All these are really, really great titles. I highly recommend every single one of them. So if you need something really fun to play retro for Halloween, why not give these a try? Anyways, duckies, thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. If you got to this end of the video, it means you really don't mind my grating voice. And I really love doing these videos for you, duckies. So anyways, stay safe and have a safe and scary Halloween.